Hi, welcome to the Isekast. This is the... Fuck.
Yeah, it's the fuck.
I'm gay. I'm gay
shit,
and
you're
I'm
gay.
dumb.
Were you trying to say that this is the Isekast, the Isekai podcast?
Yeah, but I got tongue twisted.
Oh, that's okay.
What are we saying with the opening?
I don't know what we're saying.
Isekai podcast.
I think that was a good opening. I think that was worthy.
Fuck you.
All right.
Hey, this is the Isekast.
No, I'm not
Fuck, I'm
joking.
gay.
Are we keeping it at that?
Oh yeah, we're keeping. Okay, so what do we read?
All right, we're keeping it at that. Isekast, it's an isekai podcast where every week we take an isekai and we read it and
Or watch it.
talk about it or watch it, depending on whether or not it's animated or drawn.
Except for this time, because fuck that adaptation.
This time it was animated, but we picked the drawn one because it was quite a bit shorter, and fuck that. I don't want to watch 20 million episodes of anime for this.
Wait, okay.
What?
So one thing
Huh.
I forgot to we should probably introduce ourselves just by name.
Just do it now. Go.
Go.
So
Who
we're
are you?
fucked up.
Go.
Who are you? You're already fucking gay.
Yeah,
You're
go.
already gay on
Go.
there. All right. Hey, this is Logan. I'm some random guy that doesn't know a lot about isekai.
This is Duncan. I'm the world's leading expert on isekai and dying while reading.
That's actually probably not far from the truth.
No, it probably isn't.
I'm David. I read a lot of isekai, but I'll never own up to it except for
He'll
now.
never admit
Because
it.
I fucking hate
He'll
it.
never admit it, even now. Ever.
And you're the reason I read it.
Today we're talking about In Another World with my smartphone.
Terrible.
Classic.
It had
Terrible.
I think it was like a 24 episode anime adaptation, right?
No, there's no way they made 24
No,
episodes.
if they did, then no.
You're right.
It
I
has
would
to
be
be
dead
12.
right now if it was 24. It was based off of a web novel written by some guy.
Oh, his name is well, in typical Japanese style, Fuyuhara Patora.
Fuyuhara Patora, a guy.
Deceivingly Mexican.
Deceivingly Mexican.
Yeah.
Secret Mexican.
Secret Mexican. it was animated by someone, and then it got adapted into a manga, and that's what we were reading. That's what we read, and
Really
that's what
bad.
we're talking about.
It's really bad.
So, anyone of you want to kick it off with one of the bullets in their notes?
I think
He's a grandpa's boy.
Yeah, he is a grandpa.
Let me describe this series in relationship to all isekai, okay? He dies
Yep.
instantly. It doesn't matter how he died. That's why they don't even tell you. It doesn't matter.
No, they do tell you.
No, it doesn't matter.
I think they tell you in the anime, not in the manga.
They don't tell you in the manga.
Well, they dropped lightning on him on accident. He tripped and fell and dropped lightning and it hit him.
Are you canon? Are you canon now?
Honestly, I just wish you hadn't told me that. Because I read the manga, I never saw the show.
He's like, oh, whoops, I killed him with divine lightning. Oopsies.
Oops.
Oopsies.
Oops.
Well,
that divine
regardless,
lightning?
in the manga, they do not describe his death.
The first you see him is he's a 15-year-old smartass sitting next to God, and God's like, oops, you died, and it was my fault, but it was an accident. Sorry. Well, since you're such a good kid, I guess you deserve to live still. And he throws him into this European world, like European medieval fantasy.
I want to bring up my first question.
Okay,
in
yeah,
this
ask
isekai.
your question.
Is this the omnipotent paradox where God he shouldn't be able to fuck up like that.
Unless he just has everything run by a formula because he can't possibly
No, but if we think about it, like in the manga, God just accidentally drops lightning on him.
Well, he doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be like, is he all knowing? Okay.
Just because you're omnipotent
No.
doesn't mean you can't make mistakes.
Well, yeah, but if you're all knowing and omnipotent,
You can still make mistakes. You can still have limitations.
but you'll know how to not do
Okay. I have the perfect capability to not drop my pencil, and I know what I have to do to not drop the pencil. I can still drop my
But
pencil on
if
accident.
you're omnipotent, you can
Put that
erase
down.
time. If you're omnipotent,
write
you
that
can
down.
erase time or any events that happened that led to you being wrong.
See, you're missing a crucial element. This is an isekai manga.
Okay, is
You're
God...
already bringing logic
Okay.
into something that is devoid of all logic.
Does God just, like, not care? Is that what it is?
Or it might
This
be
is-
like-
it's
it
literally
might be-
just more interesting.
It might be a part of his greater plan to write a bad isekai manga.
Yeah.
Maybe God's the author.
We've talked before about an isekai manga in which the main character is basically omnipotent, where he has like 8 billion magic or some shit.
Right.
The magic numbers. And he can do whatever he wants, but instead he just does next to nothing and just sort of watches stuff because it would be boring to do whatever you want.
Right.
I think the God in Another World with a Smartphone is literally this. He literally is omnipotent and all-knowing, and he's like, wow, that sucks. Let's just watch what happens.
He's the max level isekai character.
He's also like the worst character. I have written down on my sheet multiple times, I hate God.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, take that as you will.
Well, that brings me to my first bullet.
Go ahead.
My first bullet is way too relaxed about dead.
Yeah, he doesn't even care.
No,
He's like,
not
well,
in the
there's nothing
slightest.
I can do. Good thing I'm still
Oopsies.
smiling.
Grandpa told me to always forgive people, even
Yeah,
if they're
okay,
gone.
Grandpa's boy. The degree to which he cares about his grandpa and his grandpa cared about him is dumb. They were definitely in a gay relationship and it was not
Definitely.
legal.
Gay paw.
Gay paw.
He he's like reacts to dying like he fucking died. Everything he ever knew is gone. And he's like, ooh, dang. I guess I roll with the punches. That's what I do. Grandpa always taught me. If you die, fuck it.
No, even in the little byline, he's like, Grandpa always taught me to forgive people. And then in the byline, it's even if they're not human or something like that.
No, it was he told me to be a forgiving human being. I just thought that terminology was weird. My grandpa taught me to be a forgiving human being.
Because as we all
I'm
know...
not a forgiving dog. I'm a forgiving human being.
As
I
we-
mean,
I actually
if
have
I
to
was a
remind
dog,
myself
I
that
would
I'm that
fucking
because
eat
I'm an
everyone.
isekai character and I can be anything.
As we all know, isekai characters are made of foam latex and aren't actually humans.
Yes.
yeah.
A little bit of glass. Because eyeballs
A
teeth.
little bit of glass.
The next thing that caught my attention was that he totally wasted his cheat wish.
Yeah, why
yeah.
the smartphone? That's my second bullet.
Yeah, because...
Okay, well, he has multiple cheats in this isekai.
Because God
Right.
was probably
No,
just like,
'cause-
why did you ask
Yeah,
for a
'cause, like,
smartphone?
Yeah, he was like, wow, that was ass. What? Here's
Okay,
all
well,
this
he
stuff.
didn't ask for the smartphone technically. He was like, well, no matter where I can go, I can still use this, right? And he holds up his fucking iPhone. He just makes the assumption. He didn't ask.
No,
he was
no,
just like,
he does
I can
ask.
still use
he does
this.
ask because he's like, well, I can grant you one thing. He's like, I'd like to keep this.
If I remember correctly, he did end the chapter on that, and then he's like, I want to keep this. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, and then it's so shit because it's like it's a normal smartphone. And it's gonna die in probably like 2 days. So God just gives him a bunch of other powers.
You can charge it with magic.
It's technically a magic phone.
Yeah. So that's one thing that they at least explained in this that they didn't explain in the anime, I think.
Yeah, no, I
In
don't
that
think they did.
in the anime they're just like, oh, don't worry, you'll have a way to charge it when you get there. And then he never finds a way to charge it. But in this, they're like, it charges off your magic power, which essentially means it has infinite
The
charge.
battery is
'cause
always
he's-
half fucking empty for no reason.
right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Why
Just
put
'cause.
that detail in?
God, it's infuriating.
Yeah. So he wasted
Just to
his,
show that the battery even works when it doesn't even necessarily need to, as long as he's holding it. It
Right.
just infinitely
it
charged.
just infinitely charges. So that's a waste of a cheat wish. And God must have just felt so bad. He was like, "Oh God, here's all the magic. You get every magic. You get every single one.
He has all the magics. He has the
Body reinforcement,
body enhancement.
body enhancement.
Now, we can
Now
have
here's the thing.
boobies.
I think you could actually make a case for a smartphone being a pretty cool thing to introduce into a primitive society and try and rule them.
Yeah,
Like you take a picture of them, it's like I just took your soul. I'm going to delete this picture unless if you follow my every word.
well, I just
Well, yeah, and then you delete the picture and you're deleting their soul, and then everybody just disappears, and that's how, like, the Mayans happened.
yeah.
You know?
That's
It
how
was
they
just a
happened in
smartphone.
real
Smartphones.
life. A guy with
Yeah.
a smartphone went back and he went, "Hey, Mayans,
Yeah, what's
But
this
you-
faggot's name? Toya?
Toya,
Yeah.
Suzumiya Haruhi Toya."
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
He fucking like because that would be an interesting concept if they did In Another World with My Smartphone, except it's just he has a normal smartphone and some means to charge it, because it's pointless if he doesn't have a means to
Like
charge
a
it.
solar charger or
Right.
something.
And he tries to take over everything.
So what happens next after he gets his smartphone and is teleported to what is essentially Europe?
No, he's teleported to the middle of nowhere in Europe by a tree. Don't you forget that fucking tree, guys.
No? Well, why? What's so
Because
special about
it's
the tree?
because it was in the opening of like every episode of the anime
Yeah.
for some reason.
Oh, again, haven't seen it.
It's just
Don't watch it.
They really wanted you to know about this tree.
All right, well,
And then
after,
he's like-
after he gets teleported there,
He's
there's
like,
a carriage.
yeah, and he's like, where the fuck am I gonna go?
Yeah, he's in the middle of nowhere. There's just a road.
And
Yeah.
number one Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, and then Deus
Yes.
Ex Machina #1 happens. One
Many
of
to come.
many.
Many to come, yeah.
Right now in my notes I have Deus Ex Body Enhance and Deus Ex Katana.
I can't wait for that.
But like, who saved him? Like
Oh,
some
Xanax.
fucking
Xanax.
Xanax.
well, for the greater reason he is known as Xanax,
That is not his real name, but it's close
and
enough.
Xanax is #1 girl.
Yeah,
Yes, he's the best girl of the series.
Xanax,
So far.
Mr. X Popham Big.
He's blonde. He's European. He's really fat. And he really likes clothes.
He's a generic fantasy character. Oh,
Yeah, kind of.
I just
He's a
killed an
generic
isekai
fan.
character. I dropped my.
Oh,
Isekai
you dropped your
dropped a
fucking
pen.
pen. You just killed him. There went your fucking divine lightning.
And when you're Divine
Yeah.
Lightning, you fucking killed an isekai.
Aw, dang! I'm not God anymore.
Now another isekai. Okay,
No, you're still
tomorrow.
God. You just have to reincarnate the pen.
Tomorrow, there's gonna be an isekai manga, a new one. Watch, and it's gonna be because of him.
I was killed by a pen falling. I was just a really small fucking ant, and I got reincarnated as a human.
All right, I'm gonna skip forward because fuck normal order of events. I'm gonna skip forward to talk about his katana. Why can he use that?
His grandpa showed him.
Did his grandpa show him?
I think they do state later in the manga. They do state later in the manga when they go to that dojo. He was like, "Oh, it's just like the dojo near my house or something." So does it show that he had like?
Well, yeah,
he
they
didn't
never
have kendo training.
explicitly say that he's had anything. They just make references.
They
to
make
the fact that he probably.
It's like, oh, this was
Yeah.
near my house.
oh wow, just like the dojo near my house.
Well, like, okay,
Huh?
I'm cheating a little bit here because I'm gonna skip forward to something that happened in the anime. But he fucking kills a dragon with that sword. He fucking cuts a fucking dragon up.
It's just a sword, like a fucking
Yeah.
Ishin sword.
Right, Ishin.
Quotation
Ishin
marks
equal
on
to
Ishin.
or greater than
Ishin
Japan.
is greater than or equal to Japan.
Might
It
be
is the same
China.
thing.
Might be a little bit of China mixed in.
No,
Yeah, he like
no,
like
it's just Japan.
it's just Japan.
Japanese people
They
don't
go to
recognize
it. They go
China.
to it in the anime.
Come
it's
on.
just Japan.
What do they go to it in the
China
anime?
is just bigger
Because-
Japan.
I
Okay.
don't remember that from the anime at all.
No, he gains this ability. He gains this ability that is memory reading. He can read people's
Oh
minds.
yes, no, I've seen this.
Yeah, he gains the ability to read people's
I've seen
minds. And the Ishin girl is like, "Oh, please help me. I gotta go back to theirs for some reason, but it's gonna take forever." And then he's like, "I know. I'll read your mind, and then
Use gate.
while
to get
you're
there.
remembering Ishin, and then use gate to get there."
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are.
We were talking about the katana.
Yeah. So
Why
he can,
did he pick a katana?
Well, because
Because it's from Ishin.
It's
no.
like not even the most. We have no way of knowing if that was even the most high quality blade there. He
Let
got
me-
a fuck ton of money
that
from Xanax.
doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, but that doesn't matter because he's planning on staying at the inn instead of buying a house.
Okay.
He's just gonna stay at the inn for
Far
fucking
more
ages.
expensive, by the way.
True.
Like staying at a hotel instead of renting. Like fucking, that's like $50 a fucking day or two.
I mean, compared to how they're spending copper coins and stuff like that in the manga so far,
He is fucking loaded.
he's loaded, but also the inn was very cheap.
They even mention it
The inn was very, very
when
cheap.
after he completes the quest, which he takes like 4 or 5 chapters to do. He
Mhm.
finally completes the quest and then comes back for his reward for 10 silver coins. And he's like, "Oh, it's only 10 silver." And they're like, 10 silver is a lot of money. And he's like, "Well, I just got 10 platinum coins on the quest, so I feel like I'm kind of messed up about this here." He but the katana. So here's the real reason he got the katana. All right, if you've read enough isekai, you would know that for some reason there's an infatuation with instilling Japanese things into the European fantasy world via the main character. So even if there is a Japan place there, the main character always ends up.
Sorry, I was coughing because I thought of the obvious example that we never bring up.
Oh yeah. You're right. I'm not gonna say it.
Come on, bring it up.
No,
We never say it.
never. We don't talk about good shows. Okay.
Okay, my bad.
Fucking.
It's true though.
But it's really common that in isekai they just get Japanese weapons because
that happens a lot.
and so every isekai protagonist will have a katana somehow. Even our episode 2 in World what's it?
World Creator Customizer?
No, Death March.
In Death March.
In Death March, he also gets a katana.
Yeah. Stay tuned
Yeah.
till next week for Death March.
That's next week. Is Death March. We're doing Death March.
Fuck that.
Fucking
Sucks.
It's 38 chapters to read, motherfucker.
38 chapters of him not fucking the 11-year-old.
Not fucking the 11-year-old, but
You guys, this
we're
is
getting
next
ahead
week's
of
shit.
ourselves. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
That should
So-
be the title of this episode. Is we're getting ahead of ourselves.
No,
Yes.
no, this is a hell of a first episode.
Owie, 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 my dicky.
Owie, owie, owie on my dicky. God likes this post.
God likes this post.
Let's go.
So he gets the katana because he's a Japan and he needs to keep doing it.
Yeah.
He needs to keep going.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, before we get away from the weapon shop, I need to bring up the fucking tender, the guy who owns the weapon shop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's massive. And the first thing that our little boy main character thinks is that a bear? He's not joking. He's not saying, wow, this guy looks like a bear, or wow, this is a really big person. He says, is that a bear? But then the guy turns out to be pretty nice. He's not actually a bear. Big surprise. And then he's like, wow, he's really nice for a bear. Still thinks he's a fucking bear. And then he's like, I wonder if he likes honey or something. That's why.
There is
That's why
gay
he's nice.
fan fiction on that for sure.
For sure.
I
For
wonder
sure.
if he's a bear.
I didn't
Fucking.
even think about that.
I wonder
didn't want
when
to.
white hair. I wonder how many chapters it'll take for white hair boy to appear. Because in the last episode of the anime,
I
a
guess
guy
it'd
that
be
is
Yaoi.
identical to the main character but has white hair shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't do anything. He just shows up and he has like a European, like he has like a pent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like trying to buy something with it. And they're like, the fuck is this coin? And he's like, oh, why British money, can he buy an apple? So like, I wonder how many chapters it would take, because they're on like, so the way this ends, it ends in like episode 3 of the anime,
Mm-hmm.
which is in the middle of a scene in which a guy tries to poison the king of the country, and then out of fucking nowhere, Toya literally teleports to a random spot and is like, oh, this random spot, and because he's like coming back from a quest, and then the king's old brother, his younger brother, comes up and he's like, oh, help the king, he's been poisoned and you're the only one who can save him, just, you know, because Deus Ex
Right.
Duke. What,
We've
Duke? Deus Ex Duke.
Yeah.
We have
do.
skipped so much.
No, we're not going in order.
We went from the sword, which is in like chapter 2, to
Chapter 1.
Is it in chapter 1?
Is
Yeah.
it?
I'm
We went
pretty sure,
to
yeah.
like chapter 4 or 5, just out of nowhere.
No, chapter 9.
That's chapter 9.
I'm talking about the last chapter.
Why?
Because it's dumb.
We're being dumb. We have so many things we need to talk
We
about.
need to start liking honey.
Yes, we need to start liking honey. We got.
Okay.
What about all the girls that we're
let's talk
skipping?
about
All
the
the
two
girls.
The two girls that
the
get
sisters.
introduced.
The sisters.
Okay, so he's walking by an alleyway. And then, oh no, two cute anime girls are being harassed. They had
Deus
to
Ex
go
cuties.
Deus Ex
Deus
anime.
Ex cuties.
It's just, it was so anime.
In another,
It was really
in
like,
another
that just depressed
smartphone
me.
with my Deus Ex.
In another smartphone with my
In another
Deus
Deus Ex with my smartphone.
Yeah, two anime girls are getting hassled. They got a horn for the dudes, and then they didn't give them the agreed upon price for the horn.
It was
And
like
they're
one
sad
gold.
about it.
And they are, by the
And I
way,
miss
the
their
old
main
guys
character.
the guys are just holding the antler already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they already got it.
They already
They're like,
got it. Without
but this bitch is scratched, and they're all like, you
You did that.
degenerate dickbags.
And then main character steps in.
yeah.
He's like, hey, actually, I have business. I wanted to buy that horn instead of you guys buying the
I
horn.
want to
Yes.
represent it more accurately.
Okay.
Because it's really fast. If you think
yeah.
about the order of the events, he says that and then immediately breaks. So he's like, hey guys, I have a business. I wanted to buy that horn. Okay, here's one gold. Oh, I broke it. But I bought it so I can do whatever I want with it, right?
And then he punches him.
And then he
They get
punches
a big
him.
fight.
I'm gonna show the moves. I'm gonna use the moves that Grandpa showed me.
But like, just think about how that
Grandpa's
is
boy.
from the perspective of the characters. It's because like
Well, I
they're
mean-
representing it as if it's a cool thing, but it's like he steps in, he's like, oh hey, can I buy that horn from you? I have a business. Oh, here's one gold. Okay, oh I broke it. Oh,
Not only that, the guys that were buying the horn to begin with might have had just like a legitimate claim. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
you scratched it.
I mean, they talk about later. They're all like, I knew this was
because they were
shady.
innocent, cute anime girls.
Yeah.
Whose younger sister had the bigger boobs. That's how you know you
Okay.
can trust them.
You guys actually, if you notice, there's a trend in this in which the only trustworthy characters are cute anime girls
Oh, yeah.
or the parents of cute anime girls.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Like, and then everyone else is evil racists, and they're
Xanax.
all fat.
Yeah, but Xanax is nice.
And Xanax, because you pop those
Xanax,
pills.
anybody
makes
that
you
has
feel
like
happy.
at least a tiny bit of work put into their character design.
I mean, yeah. 'Cause
Shout out
Xanax.
to Eiji Usatsuka, the character designer who has the only microcosm of talent in this entire
Because he
trio
made
of
the-
men.
Oh, but
He
it's
made the
micro.
girls look-
It's micro.
There's not much
micro.
there.
There's not much there, but it's
Well, 'cause
I
better.
could do better.
It's better than the writing and the illustrations.
Never mind. Me saying I could do it better is you could do everything better.
Yeah,
Anybody could do everything better in this entire.
I like my manga about beating dead horses better.
Your isekai.
My isekai manga about beating dead horses.
You beat all the dead horses, and then you make more isekais.
Continuing on, why does this entire series just have video game concepts when he's not in a video game?
Well, that's the thing about isekai.
Well, yeah. If you've ever read Isekai, you'll know that happens all the time.
Yeah, I understand the influence, but it's like
These are
you're
not-
specifically writing it in a way where it doesn't have video
allow
game.
me to
It's not a video game.
Allow me to describe, because the reason they do this isn't because they think they're coming up with a unique idea, or they're all like, oh, I can write this in really cool. It's because it's really, really easy to make things happen if there's video game mechanics. Like, the characters can do things
Well, yeah,
a lot
just wait
better.
until we get into literal random encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a thing in
Like-
some bad isekai where like things will teleport to other places so a random encounter can happen. They will a fucking arena will be generated for like 3 panels.
Yeah.
That's it. Just so they can fight. Oh, we did a cool fight. Oh, now they're dead. Oh, we're back in the fucking forest. I don't know why I was just in an arena.
Oh,
Oops.
Whoopsies.
Fuck
yeah.
man, dude.
And there's like, it's this idea that it's just assumed that isekai manga has these video game mechanics. Everyone has a menu.
Yeah.
Everyone has this identifying skill. It's like there's a common trope of the analysis skill that
Analyzes things so he just knows everything.
Yeah, it analyzes. Oh, this is a magic rod and it does this, because they don't want to sit there and give the time to explain the fact that this device has a function.
Yeah, I could
They
see.
just want it to happen.
I could see Fuyuhara just being like, "Oh, isekai is easy to write. Oh, I mean, everybody else uses video game concepts. I'm not using a video game world, but I guess I'll just use the concepts because it's easier that way."
Right, and in another
it's
world,
easier that way, and it's also you have to keep in mind the audience.
Yeah,
The audience isekai are written for barely literate neats.
and
That's who they are actually written for. That's not most of the people who read them. That is just who they are actually. Well, I
Well,
mean,
well, no, they're written for like
we're overly literate neats, so I mean that doesn't.
they're written for 30-year-old overworked programmers, and
Yeah,
there's quite
for
a bit.
black companies,
There's quite
That's
a bit
true.
of evidence for this fact, in that the majority of isekai deaths are two things, because it's very common for the character just dies and they show up.
They get hit by a truck.
They're either hit by a truck, which is a meme
Or
now.
they get
It's just
hit
a meme
by
now.
a tire from the car accident
I
that
remember
happened.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've recently read 6 different isekai that all start with the premise they die of exhaustion from overwork.
Yes.
And this is leading me to
Oftentimes
believe
they will be sleeping under their desk at the black
Yeah,
company
yeah.
because they don't have enough time to go
they'll
home.
sleep under the desk. There was one that was like, this guy was a pharmacist and he was like, I gotta make the cure for cancer, and then he dies because he spent like 6 straight days up researching to find the cure for cancer.
That's
He's like,
fucking
I'm
stupid.
almost there, and then he died.
Oh, I'm almost there, even though it's been researched for
Yeah.
ages.
Yeah. Nothing, by the way, in my mind surpasses the isekai start of Make You Black Company, in which the guy is like, I've spent my entire life dedicating everything to real estate so I can become a NEET. So I can become a NEET and
I
live
just want
very
to become
comfortably.
a NEET. So, like, I don't have to worry about things. I
Yeah.
don't have to work.
And he's like, and I've finally done it. I've invested in real estate. I have so much money. I'm rich. I never have to leave this room.
And then
he's teleported into another world.
And he
it's
hates it.
fucked up.
he hates it.
All right, bringing it back to In Another World with my Deus Ex.
Ah, true.
I'm gonna give you guys 3 questions, and I want you to pick the one that fancies you the most.
Okay.
Where is the conflict? The only
It's over.
question that I wrote in just normal handwriting, not cursive as I typically do,
Where's the conflict?
just to make it easier to read for everybody else. And let's see, why ice cream? Why did he just decide, hey, ice cream. He's missing a few steps.
Well, I mean,
and
he
just
Googles
decides ice
how
cream.
to make it.
Yeah, I know, but there could be intricacies.
Not that makes any sense.
There could be intricacies to making ice cream. Obviously, I don't know.
There aren't. I've made ice cream before. There aren't.
It's actually pretty simple. And
really
even
easy.
if he did, he can just look it up. He still has the fucking internet.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, this is something they address in, like, Dr. Stone that I've been reading, where it's like, oh, we got to make penicillin or, like, soda, but we're, like, missing so many components.
That's the thing about him. So I want to say something about this that what's really unique about Another World of Smartphone, in that they go beyond what normal isekai do in giving him convenience.
Yeah.
Because normally the main character will have things like they'll have their menu, or they'll have a map, or they have a lot of stuff like that will allow them a lot of convenience in what they can do. And their freedom in this world that would generally be really, really restrictive, because it's medieval Europe. Like, you can't fucking bathe in medieval Europe.
Right.
Like, it's a bad place. But Toya gets way more convenience than even normal.
Yeah.
Because he gets the, like, shape ability.
He just gets everything.
And he gets all the magic you can fucking think of. And so, like he has this one ability that is... He just takes a material and he can shape it in any way he wants, no matter how complex. So he makes, like, a gun sword and bikes. And, like, if he wants it, he just makes it. And it's fucked. He just has
Here's
everything.
what I don't understand. They have this, like, this ability was somebody's personal magic, right?
Yeah.
How is that person just not inventing the shit out of everything already?
Well, because he uses it in combination with a bunch of other magic.
I guess.
Because all of his magic also works because of another magic he has called Multiple.
Right.
And multiple just means that he can cast the magic multiple times. So, like, the shape is like, I can shape a little bit of material. But then he casts multiple and it's like, I can shape a fucking castle.
All right. Then my other question.
Yeah.
Why is being a mercenary so lax? They addressed this in their first sort of thing.
You want to know why? Xanax.
They addressed this in their first sort of thing. I think their first job actually is to Xanax, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
Like their first big job, at least.
Or yeah, they do their first job and they killed the one-horned wolves.
No, you're right. That was their first job.
And then they do one for Xanax, and he was like, "Oh, guys, let's do this."
And they're
one.
like,
I know the guy.
They're like, "Oh, hey, it's you again."
Yeah, he gave me half of his like net worth.
And then he's delivering a letter, and then Deus Ex Lolly.
Yeah. Deus Ex Lolly.
Wait, I want to bring it back to Xanax before we get to the Deus Ex Lolly.
I love Xanax. He's my girl.
He was having a conversation with Xanax where he said, like, this is at the end of the quest, but, like, they go through the entire thing, and then he gives back the money to Xanax because they could just use Gate to teleport back.
Right.
And he's like, oh, I didn't need this money to travel. And he's like, you could have just, like, left and, like, kept it. Like, you didn't have to tell me you use Gate. And he's like, well... Trust is a very important thing for a mercenary, and like I couldn't help but think of like other things I've experienced of like medieval Europe sort of equality,
and how you literally can't trust mercenaries.
Like you think back to like Skyrim or like The Witcher or something like that, video games, even like Game of Thrones or other sort of like just medieval societies, and you can't trust anything with anybody who carries a sword for money.
Because like. In modern society, you could trust a mercenary because if they don't do their job, even if someone offers to pay them more, it'll be known that they switch sides, right?
Yeah, and then they will get no business.
And then they'll get no business. But in medieval Europe, there's no information system. There's no network in which you can easily spread, hey, this guy fucked me over, because you're dead. No, like at most 5 people knew that these mercenaries were coming with you, and so they fucking killed you. And you're fucked. So trusted mercenaries, like using a mercenary is just a fucking gamble. You just have to hope.
Like Corcus.
Yeah,
fucking Berserk.
Like Corcus.
You don't trust Corcus.
You don't trust fucking
Nobody
Corcus.
trusts Corcus.
He's a fucked nose. Of course you don't trust him.
Yeah.
He specifically looks the worst out of the entire band of the Hawk because you're not supposed to trust him.
He is an asshole, and they make him look like an asshole.
As an example, we played D&D, and we didn't have figures for a long time, so I brought all my Berserk figures, and we used those because I had a big set of Berserk figures as all of the character figures. And the one figure I didn't bring is fucking Corcus.
Because nobody would trust him.
Nobody would trust
Nobody
him.
would trust that
Nobody
character
even
if they
wants
looked
to
like
play
Corcus.
as Corcus. Even if they were playing a disgusting, slimy, fucked-nosed asshole like Corcus,
and
they still wouldn't want to use his fucking
Turning into
character.
the Berserk/Corcus
This is
Yeah.
getting into the
podcast.
Corcus
If the
argument.
DM puts Corcus down, you're gonna be, oh, that's the bad guy.
Oh, who's the character DM? Never mind. I don't care. I'm killing him.
But
Yeah.
in
It doesn't matter.
But in Deus Ex Smartphone, that's not the case. Like, just mercenaries are just 100%
No,
trusted.
they're trustworthy.
The only people you can't trust are characters with no detail and who usually are in the background.
Characters that aren't anime girls, aren't
You can
or aren't the parents of anime girls.
you can trust Toya. He doesn't do anything. He's empty.
He's essentially an anime girl.
He's an anime girl, yeah. He doesn't look masculine
Yeah,
in
he
any
doesn't
way,
at
shape,
all.
or form.
If you
His
look
hair
back,
isn't just past his shoulders.
in the anime, that's even more accurate because they just use the
And he
same
doesn't
face
have
for
like
every
an
character.
idol girl. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no face except for like the blonde, fat European guys that he draws. Everybody looks the same.
Well,
male, female,
all the blonde, fat European guys are evil racists.
except for Xanax.
Except
'cause
for
he's
Xanax.
best girl. Yeah.
Because Xanax
Best girl.
is Xanax.
All right. That brings attention to the mercenary problem that I wanted.
And then to Deus Ex Lolly.
yes, why don't we get into Deus Ex Lolly?
Okay, so when they're on their quest, they come across a carrot that's being attacked by some wolves or something, or people.
No, there's lizard
people.
There's
Lizard
a
people.
magic guy spawning
Yeah.
lizard people.
This actually brings me to my next point.
Okay.
Why does the quality drop so much in fights?
What?
Like,
Right?
Characters just
Because
like
it's
lose
not an
eyes and
action.
definition.
Because he doesn't know how to draw anything dynamically. I'll tell you that. Anytime he tries to do anything dynamic with the perspective, with the angles, anything, it just looks shit.
Yeah, it does.
He just did, like the one panel that I showed you when they're walking the forest and they tried to do like a curving perspective, but it just looked like a fuck.
Because there's no curvature on the ground or anything
Yeah.
like that. There's no definition to like.
the trees just went in random angles. Their bodies were like curved bad. It
Every
looked
fight
so
scene
weird.
looks like fucking hot garbage.
Yeah,
that
there's
every
also
character dies in one shot.
There's
Like,
no backgrounds in the fights.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who, whether it's the isekai character or the girls, every character, be it a lizard man or just a random thug, dies or like gets knocked down in one shot.
down in one shot.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, why would I animate anything but the important? Why would I draw anything but the important parts, where they go down? Like, why would I draw tension and fight scenes if I can only
If all
draw
he-
them getting hit and
If all
falling
he
down?
wants to do is draw the important parts, he shouldn't be drawing a fucking isekai.
Right, but he's forced to.
He should
This is
just.
the
They're
epitome of
slaves to
unimportant.
do this.
Why would he? I mean, like, why wouldn't he just like make his character just impervious to like fights in any sense, like where he just wouldn't have to fight?
Again, I understand that you're inexperienced, but you're bringing logic into an isekai. That's something you can't do.
I'm just saying,
If you do that, you're gonna go fucking insane. I've been there. You cannot do that.
I'm just saying, if he really didn't,
logic.
if he really wasn't that good at making fight scenes, and he must know that they're just not good at making fight scenes, not good at writing them either, then just don't do them.
Well,
Just
he's not
make
good
a
at
character that
drawing
doesn't.
any scene or writing any scene.
yeah,
he doesn't know that.
No,
If he
he's
does,
not.
That's terrible.
He's not writing it. He's only adapting it from.
That's true.
From the novel.
No, the writing for the fight scenes itself.
Yeah, the writing for the fight scenes.
Yeah. Well, the writing a fight scene is boring as shit universally. But it's also like when you're making an isekai, you just feel like you have to.
I mean, the best fights should be dialogue in a sense, like
Yeah.
whether it's character inflection or the fact that they're in combat doesn't really matter.
Even if it's
You just
literally
need two
animated, the
characters
best
that-
fight is dialogue.
You
Yeah.
just need two characters that don't see eye to eye and have different perspectives, and that usually makes a decent enough fight scene.
No, this is isekai. You need a generic guy that doesn't have a face, who's doing something
Bad.
terribly evil. It's like Hitler levels of evil. I'm burning kids.
Oh, I knew that.
That's what they got to be doing. Like
Wait.
literally, this is I'm here to shoot a lolly with a bow and arrow.
Wait, can I? Yeah. Can I say this? I don't remember when he used pocket sand, but he has
Yeah.
a spell that is just
Yeah,
pocket sand.
It's when when Yaya the Ishin girl
Yeah,
shows up.
Right.
You're
He's just like
Yeah,
pocket
yeah.
sand, and then the guy's like, "Oh, my eyes."
Yeah, see, he uses like it's like bind sand attack. He's like bind sand attack because, by the way, it doesn't come across in the manga because we're reading the English version, obviously. But all of the magic, all of it, is just them saying it in English.
It
Yeah.
is?
Yeah, it is.
The actual magical spell word is the English language. The magic language is English.
In a European society.
Yeah. So like when in the anime when he uses that like bind sand magic, which it's different in the anime because it's like more like a trapping thing.
Wait, what
than
did he say?
pocket sand?
Does he say anything like bindo sando?
Yes, he's bind sand magic. And then
Yes, he says bind.
Was he-
sand.
was
I
he
have the
using-
title right here?
was he using his slip magic?
Yes, he used slip fucking constantly on the lizard men.
Well,
and then
in the
he's
anime
like,
he did definitely.
oh no, he did in the manga too. And then
Okay.
he's like, "Oh, we defeated the lizard men." And they're like, "Oh no, look, an evil magician. He's the one raising the lizard
Slip.
men." And he makes the wizard slip. Oh, and everything's just dead. All the enemies, all the lizard men,
Right.
everything's just
and
dead
Okay, so
it's his signature move.
because he slipped.
the first Deus Ex, I'm gonna heal everybody comes up here.
Yeah. So
That's true too.
okay. Oh, we skipped over the most important thing.
What?
So right before this, they're in a carriage, and
Yes.
and they're just like, wow, it's incredible that you can just learn any null magic by knowing what it is and what the name is. They didn't like explain that he had that power.
Yeah.
He's just in the middle of learning null magics, and they're all like, wow, it's incredible
Here's
that you
a
had
book
that.
with every null magic so
Yeah.
you can learn them all.
It's incredible that you had that power that we found out you had off screen that's really overpowered and important. It's incredible that that's a thing. And I'm glad that we skipped over it and we didn't explain how you figured out you had that power. We just know you do now. We just know you have it.
God, he's 50.
Oh yeah, he's
God, he's only 50.
Can I just say
He's
say
closer
one
in
thing
age
about
to
the Ishin
fucking
girl?
lolly than half of his harem.
One thing about the Ishin girl before we get to Deus Ex Lolly fully in
Okay.
detail.
Yeah.
I don't like the character archetype of girls who eat a lot.
neither do I.
I don't like it in like I mean it's all right in Dragon Ball because that's like the one thing that like
It's not girls that eat a lot, it's giant muscle-bound men that eat a lot.
yeah. For her it just doesn't make sense. They don't characterize
Right,
it.
right.
For them it's like, oh, we need to eat this much because we're fucking crazy. We shoot beams out of our hands.
Yeah, we need to eat this
No.
much because
The-
we fire lasers.
The goal in making her eat a lot was showing that she had been traveling on her own with no money and hadn't eaten. That's why they
She-
put that
but
in
then
there.
No,
she
she
keeps
eats that
doing
much
it.
every single time.
Yeah.
Right, no, I understand that. But the reason they did it to start with, and they're like, actually, no, this could be a cute trope.
Hold on, let me
Yeah,
crack open a
you're right.
cold one with the boys.
Cool.
That was loud.
Everybody take a large sip from your real
My
doctor's.
real doctor. I think it's
You
on diet.
heathens. Drinking real doctor. Why do I have that real doctor? Okay. Alright, Deus Ex Lolly. So he's fucking goes after the carriage, he fights the lizard people, slips them all. Just slip over and over again. They all slip.
This is gonna sound like the ramblings of a madman if you haven't read this manga.
Yeah, please read it just so we
Please.
don't sound crazy.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No.
Don't
Everybody
fucking
needs
read it.
to feel the pain that you have inflicted on me.
Yeah.
I cried a few times, not because it was sad.
I read these things for fun. Don't be like me.
Yeah, no. Don't.
So they fucking slip everyone. Everyone slips, they fall down, they break their asses. And then he goes into the carriage and they're all like, "Oh no, my butler! My butler's dying!"
That's a great lolly voice, by the way.
"Oh, I can't save my butler!"
Do you do voice acting?
Oh yeah.
Dude, you sound like 11.
Yeah.
Sound like you have
Great.
pigtails.
I'm 11 and I have pigtails. I mean, that's who I am in real life.
I mean, that's true. I can see them.
Yeah, you can see them. You're looking at my face, my 11-year-old face with pigtails. And he's like, oh, she's like, oh, I can't heal him because there's an arrowhead in him, and because of the arrowheads in him, I can't heal him.
Oh,
And
he also just learned that he had the power.
yeah,
by
the
way,
power apports.
where he can just take small objects.
They very, very recently, like literally right before they walked in, found out he had the power that he can move small objects.
he tried to take the girl's sword.
But it was too
It
big.
was too big, and he was like, oh, okay.
So he took her bow and then her hair got
This was the one
your
moment
bow,
where in
yeah.
any other isekai would be like, oh, this character's gonna use it to take panties. Like in
I appreciated that they didn't do that.
like in our in that one
in
obscure
the only
manga.
good one.
Yeah.
Like in that one obscure manga.
Right,
anime.
the obscure one that nobody knows about.
it.
They definitely don't use
but
steel.
But he uses it
Steel
on a
panties.
ribbon because
'Cause he's wholesome.
Fuck it.
Because he's just the most empty character. I don't particularly like pervy characters, but at least it's a character archetype.
Yeah.
He's just nothing.
Well, okay.
He's grandpa's boy.
So-
That's it.
so
yeah,
here's the
he's
thing.
grandpa's boy.
Yeah.
He's empty.
He
He's
later
God's boy.
in the anime. Well, okay, I got on a big rant with them on fucking Discord because we were talking on Discord and we've been trying really hard not to talk about this so we can record us talking about it. But I had to go on a rant about it because he is the emptiest character. To a degree, it's kind of hard to understand. He is not quite anything. All right? He's not quite dumb, but not quite smart. He's not quite strong, but not quite weak. He's
Right.
not quite a pervy character, but not quite an unpervy character.
Yeah.
He's not all the way anything. He is universally inherently nothing.
Yeah.
And it's insane how specifically he's not a thing.
He's a 10-10-10-10-10 D&D character.
Yeah. He's villager stats right across the board.
No, he's a 10-10-10-10 D&D character that has every single magic and the ability to cast them all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Who can cast 9th level magic for no reason? Yeah, fuck. And he has and the map is already drawn for him everywhere, and he knows the location of every enemy, and he's always in a surprise round, and his DC is infinite, and yeah.
Yeah, just like...
So he uses the supports ability that he finds to move an arrowhead out of the butler's chest. And then they're like, well, that he has his arrowhead out of his chest, we can heal him with the magic. And then they heal him with magic. And she's like, wow, you want to go see my dad?
And then flashback to The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got time.
Yeah, so they
And
go...
then he has time, then
They go with Deus Ex Lolly, and they
Well,
meet,
they do bring attention to the fact that she is a part of the royal family.
She is,
Yes.
yeah. She's the daughter of a duke.
Which dukes are
family.
Is that accurate? Is that accurate European society?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, I
don't
didn't think
believe
so.
No,
I
there's
didn't think so.
no. There's also barons and.
Well, I believe if you are a member of the royal family, you are a duke.
Mm-mm.
But
That's not
you
how it
can
works.
be a duke without being a member of the royal family.
No, that's not what makes you a duke at all. It's all about land ownership for the feudal system.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you just get there through political power.
Okay.
It's not.
I mean,
it's not a family
then it
thing.
would make sense the brother of the king is a duke.
Like, yeah. It
Wait.
definitely makes sense.
I remember
it's just that's not.
I
how
remember
you
this
become a
from
duke.
that same obscure manga. In that one,
Right.
I can't remember the character. She's a blonde, like paladin-esque character.
Uh-huh.
I think they go in a little bit to like the
'Cause she's the daughter of
a
the
similar
duke.
system.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think they actually do it in an accurate format because like I think they're just landowners.
Maybe they actually thought about how it
Maybe there was thought put into the world other than it's medievally.
And there also happens to be a Japan that people can just
And there
walk.
are a Japans.
Just remember that you can walk from the Japan country to Europe if you
Right.
felt like it.
Because their land masses are different.
Land mass.
So fucking there's all that shit. They go to Deus Ex Lolly and they're like, hey, let's save you. Let's go meet your dad.
Because
While
we're
we
heading
finish
to
our
the
quest."
capital anyway.
Yeah, we're heading to the capital anyway. Yeah, okay, that's the thing. That's another thing. That's another thing that happens all the time. When they meet characters, there's like, oh, we're headed to the capital.
This is my next bullet
Oh,
point.
I'm also headed to the capital.
This is my next bullet point. This was when I started to notice it really in the anime and the manga, because I saw the anime first.
Uh-huh.
I was like, how many convenient details can you cram into one plot line?
Right.
Like,
There's so many.
this is really where the question is, where is the conflict comes in? Like, there's never anything like, oh, we have to do a side route and like.
Well, the conflict is that he died that one time.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
so
conflict is over. He died. That was the conflict.
as we've learned from many other anime and manga, side plot lines don't always go the best from the main story, but like, it's something. It expands the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
Haven't you
like,
ever
if
played
they had to go
Skyrim?
to, like, some obscure towns on their way to the capital, I wouldn't be unhappy. It would just make a longer and better manga.
It would have fleshed out the world more. It would have had more things for them to do.
No.
Yes.
I disagree because it wouldn't have fleshed out the world more because they would not have put in the effort to have a fleshed out world.
But there would have been more.
No,
There
David.
would have been something.
You know how
now
you
there's
kind of like
nothing.
you know how you kind of like the lady at the inn and the lady that like runs like the
Yeah, she was
food
nice.
shop.
She was the best character. until
They're
Sanders.
all the same characters across
Yeah,
the
it would've-
villages.
I know.
It would have been another identical village to the place they were before.
Right, at least it would have been more. It would have showed that there's something. They could have drawn
I feel like it would have.
a background
I
for
feel like
once.
I feel like it would have made it so that we would have to read more of stuff that felt pointless. I think it would feel really pointless if they shoved a random town. Like, it all feels really pointless. But I feel like if they have a sense of urgency in the fact that they're on a quest to the capital, the idea of them stopping somewhere would be like, well, why the fuck are they doing that?
Yeah, that's true.
So
He
I
has
don't
gate,
think.
though.
Yeah, he has gate though. So it doesn't
none
even
of this-
fucking
none of this
matter.
matters.
Brings me to my next plot point. Why did Fuyuhara write such a protagonist whose ability is to be so convenient? It's like typical for isekai to have overpowered
By the way,
protagonists.
we keep referencing isekai. We have not explained the word or the genre isekai.
Well, it means just really, really bad, right?
I mean,
It
that is
means-
the learned definition, not the dictionary one.
The
It is
word
the learned
isekai
definition.
literally translates to in another world.
In
I
another
believe.
world. Yes.
Just
it
in
does.
another world. Any manga in which a main character is in another world from his original one is an isekai.
And it's very typical for these characters to have cheat abilities where they're just like really strong in that world because they didn't get to live a full life in the other one. But like
Such as all the magic.
Fuyuhara is just like writing somebody whose ability is to just not be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you find this to be problematic or a conflict with the way, like,
I get it.
You
I
understand the genre?
I'm applying
it's
too much
gonna
logic
get
to
worse.
the isekai.
You're
It's
applying
gonna
too
get
much
worse.
logic, and this is not the worst
Well,
of them.
and
This is
here's
what
the
I
thing.
have
This
to
is
do.
not even the worst.
This
of
is
them.
what I
This
have to do.
popular. This is not the worst.
This is
of them.
among the worst, not the worst isekai in general.
Okay,
this is
cool.
among the worst main characters in
Oh,
isekai.
no. Totally agree.
For sure.
I agree. It's one of the
Because
worst main characters.
isekai can have really interesting, like Make You Black Company has a really interesting main character. It's not necessarily good,
No, it's not good,
but it has an interesting main character because his position is interesting and his mentality is interesting.
right.
And so you can make interesting main characters. Now, there's also a lot of not interesting main characters, like Isekai Nonbiri, for example, something I've been
Yeah.
reading. Main character just wants to farm. He's not really thinking about anything. He was an old man. He died from being old, and he was like, I just wanted to be just That's his whole character.
Yeah.
All right. So, keeping in line with the same line of events, so why are just like do you guys remember how many royal guards were killed? Like
10.
10.
10 of them.
No.
No, there were 10 and 7
there
of
were
them
10,
died.
and 7 of them died.
7 of them died to just lizard men, which we have no concept of is whether a good spell or not. But it's like one guy, one sorcerer guy.
I'm pretty sure they say lizard men are as good as rats. Quote.
Why?
So 7 royal guards. I mean technically 10 because like those other 3 were like wounded.
Yeah. 10 wounded.
10 royal guards losing to just lizard men, and then like 4
Well, it's-
adventurers show up and
it's-
they just kick their
It's
asses.
endless lizard men, and he knows where the caster is, and they don't.
Then just you're in a carriage. The caster isn't in a carriage. Just go.
Yeah. No, yeah. There's
It
no
was
reason.
it was a
There's
terrible
no
plan.
reason they could have been beat like that.
And just like 4
Nah,
random
dude, they
adventures.
slipped.
And as far as we know,
And-
the Royal Guard also have strong like null magic.
They could
Yeah,
have.
but they
strong...
don't have magic to stop them. From
No, that's
slipping.
not null magic.
Yeah.
What?
it's
That's
different.
not null magic.
Well, they spawn with their own magic, don't they? From like the
Well, okay.
Royal casters. No, the Royal Guard must have like null magic. I mean, there must be a reason that they have been allowed to be Royal Guards.
All right, allow me to enlighten you about the views of magic in the world of In Another World of the smartphone. All right, null magic is seen as pretty much useless.
That's why it's called null.
Because you only get one and you can't learn it. So you're born with like 1 or 2 at most. Like having 2 is really rare. And you just get the 1 and it's usually like a nothing. It's like I can
Right, they explain this like
Yeah, like my fucking pinky glows. I can make my pinky glow.
or like you just make tea's color more vibrant. I think is some one
Yeah,
of these
Or like
exactly.
Boku no Hero, it's like
quirks.
it's like quirks, but like the characters that have really useless quirks,
like
that's
that one
everybody.
character Bakugo
Yeah.
was friends with, where his fingers just grow.
Yeah,
Exactly. Everyone has those really, really, really useless ones. And so it just becomes powerful because 1 in a million.
What I'm saying,
1 in a fucking million, you get the heal everything.
yeah. And then you get
what
like
I'm
All Might.
the
you
Royal
get
Guard
those
though,
kind of people.
they must be in that position either because they're good swordsmen or because they have these like skills to them.
Or maybe
Why don't
because
they
there
have,
needed
like-
to be a conflict that the main character can resolve using his cheats, and then they can move on and have a lolly introduced.
No,
in the
I'm
story.
more-
That's the logic.
So 7 of them didn't need to die though. It could just be like there's an endless wave of lizard men coming, and we're
All right,
eventually
guys.
just gonna run out of stamina.
Let's talk about this because I'm actually really interested in the idea of how the fuck their world functions. Because
Okay, yeah.
so they
I mean, it's not there. We could essentially just write the canon right now.
we're doing it. We're writing canon. So like they have null magic, but it's like generally useless. And 1 in a fucking million people. Oh, we've been recording for a while. Fuck.
We have.
Yeah, it's
52 minutes.
2 minutes.
Oh, that's nothing. Nothing.
So
Let's wait till the 4-hour mark on this one.
We'll wait till the 4-hour mark, then we'll see how the
So-
2 people that are gonna listen to this if they get through that.
Yeah. So 1 in a million people, they get a really strong null magic, and it's like for example, the recovery one,
Mhm.
which is literally if you see in the anime, it's the English word recovery.
Yes.
It's recovery.
Recovery.
That heals fucking everything. It heals everything
Makes
universal.
healing magic literally useless.
Yeah. But only
It's
one
not
guy
better than
has
Slit.
it. Only one guy has it, and it's like it's a one-time thing, and no one can learn it. So 1 in a million, you get famous because you have this really cool ability, and then you die, and it's gone.
Mhm.
Then all the null magics are pretty much just seen as like, oh, that's just a cool thing people have.
Yeah.
But then the elemental magics are like, that's the real shit, though.
Oh yeah.
You're born with like an element. So something they changed from the anime, because they mentioned in the anime, it's the rarity of how many magics you have starts with like 1, right? So like everyone has 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then next is it multiplies to like 1 in 1,000 to have 2,
Yeah.
and then it multiplies that number by 100 each time.
Right.
So it's 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100,000, or it might be 10. It's 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000, 1 in a million,
1 in an
1 in
isekai
10
have
million.
all of them.
and then 1 in a fucking never has all of them.
Right.
Even though in the anime they do introduce a character that had all of them, other than him. But she was
Nice.
dead like a million years ago.
Yeah. Isekai character.
And of course it was an anime girl.
Yeah.
Wait.
What?
This just made me think about it. So like the younger sister, bigger boobs,
Yeah.
has 3, and the older sister, flat chest, has 0, and just uses null magic. But her null magic is
But she
really
has
strong.
2 null magics.
Yeah, it's
2
and it's
really
also
strong
really
ones.
strong. So, like that's what I'm saying is like, why don't the Royal Guard have something like that? There must be a reason they're there.
Right. And
I already
the
explained to you the reason they're there. You're still thinking about it too much.
I know. Just
I know you know, but you're not acting upon the knowledge.
Right.
You need to just accept and forget and move on to the next bullet point.
all right, we're gonna move on to the Duke. So they go to the Duke,
Oh yeah, dude.
and he just gives them shit dickloads of money, just like 10 platinum coins for saving his daughter. Well, no,
In the
it's
bottle.
not for saving his daughter. He just thanks them for saving his daughter, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
he's like, he talks about his wife, who conveniently they remember that their grandpa had the recovery ability that omnipotently healed anything.
And that his wife is currently suffering from night blindness or something.
no,
Something that just gives her
permanent
blind.
blindness.
I don't know what disease does that.
Blindness.
Okay.
Your eyes got fucking shot out or something.
But this brings me to my next point. It's that one panel where it was also in the anime
Yeah.
where it's like. Unfortunately, the wife's father has been dead for a while, and like my daughter went out to search for it. Although I told her that the odds were very small, and then they
literally
all
say-
pointed it, and then they all point at Toya. It's like It's just like fucking
They
gas.
just point at him like,
In the anime, it was like they were all encircling him and pointing at him.
Right.
In the manga, it was just all of them on one side pointing at him. And this is when it hit me. All the girls' personalities are pretty much the same.
Yeah, they're the same girl.
yeah, they try to make the sisters different when they're in the same.
No,
like,
they have
situations,
individual
but
quirks
that's it.
based on a situation. So, small tit sister is like a tsundere.
Kind of boyish, yeah.
Yeah, kind of boyish. But then other than that, she's exactly the same as the other one, who's like the kind of shy girl.
She's kind of shy, but she's not afraid to say how she feels.
Yae, the fucking Ishin girl, is infinitely improved in this manga because in the anime, after every single time she talks, she ends it with degazo.
Yeah.
Degazo.
Oh, it's terrible.
Every single fucking time.
He called attention to it because when he first met her, he's like, "That's the first time I've heard that ever."
Yeah, because her speech is really weird, but because it's translated to English, they don't add that.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's Japanese and
annoying. It's like ear grating.
Yeah.
And so her character's infinitely better now that she's not saying degazo every fucking sentence.
I mean, granted, you could say that she has less personality because she doesn't say that anymore. Although it doesn't add much, but it is something.
But
that's
it was
different.
her whole personality before, so now
her whole
really
personality
generic.
is being a foreigner. Yeah, because she's from Ishin.
So, when he goes to the Duke, actually, what happens is he's like, if only we could find someone who had this recovery ability. They literally say that.
Yeah.
And then everyone looks at him, and they,
like,
in unison, they point and they go, And,
Tim Allen.
yeah.
Yeah, they just become Tim Allen for a second.
They just become Tim Allen.
Is Tim Allen just an anime girl?
Tim Allen's.
Yeah, Tim Allen is the best anime
All right,
girl.
yeah, that one's
Don't want to talk about Tim Allen. I'm too hard. All right, so he's just like, oh, I got it. I got the magic. But he's like really serious about it for some reason. He's like, I mean, I don't know if it'll work, but I'll try my best. And it's like, you know the way it works. He's
You're
like, oh,
literally
it'll work.
God.
So he comes up, he heals her eyes, and this man's like, you're literally a miracle and you've saved our family. And he's like, here's a shitload of money. And he gives him 10 platinum pieces and like a seal that is like, everyone will know that you're one of my guys now.
Yeah.
And so you can just get into anywhere. So he and then he goes off with that. What do they fucking do after that?
I don't remember.
It's so unimportant.
They had to go to the...
Do they do the ice cream thing?
They do the ice cream.
No,
No,
the ice cream
wait.
thing was before that.
No, wait. It was shogi. They do shogi.
Oh,
No,
yes.
That's like a side thing that they don't even do, though. He just mentions that
they
did that.
They go back. He starts building shogi boards, and he finds this like coat. I think
he finds his coat.
Which, by the way, is like a shit piece of loot for anybody else except for him. It's the perfect thing.
It's a coat that gives intense magic resistance to any magic you are proficient with.
Right.
But it gives you magic like it gives you vulnerability to magic you're not proficient with.
Like, for example,
but
if it was
proficient with all of them.
like I think the example they used was they used little like stick figures. It was fire. Like they just showed the person wearing the coat and they're like standing in front. I was like, I'm all right. But like they used lightning on him and he just like turns to a pile of ash or something like
so
that.
like it would destroy you. Like you're nearly invincible to one element, but every other element destroys you instantly.
Right, but if he's proficient with all of them, it just makes him invincible.
So he's basically invincible.
Just invincible.
But, plot twist, he was already invincible.
Yeah.
It's also just a fucking gaudy coat. It's complete. It's a completely white trench fur coat.
Bad. I remember when the anime first started airing, and we were all looking at the currently airing list, and it was on the cover. We all were talking to each other, and we're like, "This is actually one of the worst character designs I've ever fucking seen."
Yeah,
it's actually just terrible.
And it's not as bad too as the fucking white-haired guy that shows up later.
Yeah, no, it's
who has the gaudy ass scarf.
So here's the thing. if you did the silhouette test
Well, I
with
mean,
character
he's
designs
British.
for him and he wasn't so round, I would honestly just think he was a bad Final Fantasy character, which
Yeah.
I actually have on here, which is why does this feel like a bad JRPG? I know that Final Fantasy is not bad, but he just does feel like a bad JRPG protagonist.
Final Fantasy 13 is bad.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
like,
one's real bad.
I mean, when you have like 15,
and 13 Lightning Returns.
Shout out to Jesse.
when you have 15 fucking games, you're gonna get bad ones in the mix.
Right,
I'm
right.
just trying to not get the entire Final Fantasy community to hate me.
It's upwards of 20 games actually.
Also,
Is
shout
it?
out to Cosmo.
Yeah. Because there's like 10, 2. There's multiple MMOs with a bunch of expansions. There's 13, 2, and then like 13.3, but it isn't called that, I think. Or is there? I don't know.
But like,
I don't play Final Fantasy, but there's a lot of fucking games.
give him spikier hair and like maybe make him a bit lengthier, and I would not be able to tell the
not at all.
difference.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He's a terrible character design. Most of them are. Like the outfits that the two girls are wearing are terrible.
Okay, they are literally wearing idol outfits.
Yeah.
They look like main characters from Ruby.
Yeah. And man,
Like, I have a problem with Ruby, but that's not
I
necessarily a
don't
compliment.
I really don't like the way characters look in Ruby.
I'm not a big fan of it.
I turned on a random episode. the
No,
other
I take
day,
it back.
and
They
I
all
was
look like
oh.
Yang.
They all.
They all look like Yang, but more
Yeah.
Moe.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So
The shogi thing, though.
he makes shogi boards because he has that power that we mentioned earlier to just make anything into any shape as long as he has the materials. So he just takes wood and he just makes a shogi board.
Yeah, he just like
Right.
spreads it around, and this is also a bullet point. Like seriously, he says directly, there's not much entertainment in this world, I guess, because everybody's fucking super happy about shogi.
Yeah,
They're like, oh god, this
whoa.
is the funnest thing I've ever done.
One of the oldest board games in existence.
And I thought about this, and I'm like, so like the world just doesn't have much entertainment. I don't think that's a fucking excuse. I think that he just hasn't fleshed out the world enough.
And he just
Well, I mean,
he just
yeah.
made up. What he wanted was that he hasn't fleshed out the world, and so he can come up with anything he
I
wants.
just didn't understand.
Which means
he
that-
had the gall to say, it's like, oh, I guess it's just not a lot of entertainment here. It's like, no, you didn't give them any characters anything to do.
To be fair, it's medieval Europe.
Yeah, but even
they had
medieval Europe
chess.
had like chess.
They had
or
chess
like,
before then.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is,
And
is
maybe
that
They also had piles of shit
There's-
in the fucking street. And they're not going to put that
There's-
in Isekai manga because it's not appealing.
there's nothing to explain
It doesn't
why
matter.
the Duke just didn't have stuff to do, because he fucking lit up
Well-
at the idea of shogi.
well, here's the
Right.
thing: the writer didn't flesh out the world, and I think he likes that because
Well, of course. It's
because
completely open-ended.
what it means
you can do
is-
anything.
is he thinks I want the character to introduce shogi to the world because I know about shogi, and so I'll say they don't know what shogi is, and then the main character's bringing this new thing, and because the main character's bringing it, I have to make it cool, so I have to make it so that everyone's amazed.
I'm just saying that they didn't need to comment on. He didn't need to comment and say like, "Oh, I guess this world doesn't have much
No.
entertainment." It
The
could just have different entertainment.
This whole thing was point.
Yeah, okay.
The whole
but
thing
if
was
the
point-
world had different entertainment, nobody would be as thrilled at shogi as they are.
Yeah.
So he has to make the world completely devoid of fun, just so shogi can be fun.
Just so shogi can be fun because he wants the main character to introduce it and for everyone to be amazed because everyone
Right.
needs to be amazed by the main character.
Okay. After he does shogi, we get into something that looks a little bit like plot, but really isn't. Should we bring up the ambassador thing first?
Oh,
Like how the little sister-
That's after.
That's
Yeah.
after, though.
Oh no, that's before, and then the
little
ambassador stuff happens. So
Yeah.
he's walking through the streets and he sees the little sister
Mhm.
of the ambassador.
Animal-eared girl.
Oh, I'm lost. I'm another lolly and I'm lost.
Little lolly fox girl.
And he's like, I have a map, and then he fucking takes her.
Oh, it's on the way, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
it's
It's
forget
on the
about
way where
Google
I'm
Maps.
going.
It's on the way to the capital.
It's on the way to the capital. Just check Google Maps.
So-
Take a detour.
So he takes her with Google Maps to her sister,
Yeah.
and then
Like, I like
it's just a side.
If it wasn't on the way, he just wouldn't bother, is what I think, because that's
Yeah.
the only reason you would keep checking.
Yeah.
So he just brings them, and it's just some side thing that happens real quick to establish those two characters as existing. Then they go on a mission that didn't appear in the anime, I think. Where
Are you talking about the knight or?
They fight like
They fought
a turtle-looking thing.
No, that was after the night fight where they fight the Doulahan, which is
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
which is
You're right.
in that other obscure Isekast.
Yeah, that no one knows about.
Yeah, there's a Doulahan in that one too.
So they do that and they find that thing. That's actually the main plot, I think. So they allude to it towards way at the end of the anime, but there is supposedly an overarching plot in which there's these weird monsters that are coming from other universe or something.
Right, but that's the kind
And
of
they're
thing
fucking
you can
everything
just say at the end that it's been happening.
Right,
And, like,
right.
You never see it, and at the
Right.
end they're just dropping. They're like, no, by the way, they're totally
No,
plot.
in the manga, didn't he? He's like, oh. It's like, oh, there might be treasure around in these ruins. It's like, and he does a search thing, which they use later. But he's like, I wonder if there is, hey, treasure? And he just calls it out. It's like, oh, there's no treasure. It's like, well, maybe there's something I don't recognize as
ancient
treasure.
artifacts.
And then it's like, oh, it's over there. Just right there.
Yeah. So he goes, he does that thing that's supposedly alluding to the main plot, I think.
Maybe
then-
somewhere.
And then he ends up teleporting somewhere, and right when he teleports, the fucking Duke is there for no reason, and he's like, "Oh, Toya, great timing. Hey, could you get in the carriage? Get in the carriage. Go, 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 go." And he's like, "What's happening?" And he's like, my brother, the king. The king he was poisoned, and he's dying, and you need to help him." He's like, "Whoa, okay.
Is it on the way?
Is it on the way?"
Check Google Maps.
So he's really, really quickly brought to the king,
Yeah.
and he just uses recovery because fucking.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And then the king is fine. And
No.
like,
They meet the guy first.
he's walking
They
up
meet
the stairs.
culprit, who's like, oh, this guy's definitely the culprit.
Yeah,
Right.
They're walking up the stairs and they take the time to introduce the fat racist,
The fat racist.
They need to come.
who the first thing he does is like, oh, it's probably that beast woman because beast people are terrible and we should kill them all, right, everyone?
The poison was in her wine. I mean, they're probably just trying to fucking start shit.
Yeah, they're just trying to start shit because they're fucking beast people. We should kill them all. Did you know that?
They're all cute animal-eared anime girls over there. We should need to fucking kill them.
Hey, we should stab him in the fucking throat. So then he's like, oh, you faggot, and then he slips him.
Right.
And then he then goes to the king, heals him. Cool.
And then they see that guy again, and he's like, "Your Majesty, you're healed." And then he's like, "Yes, thanks to Toya here, I was healed." And he just gives him this like hardest death stare I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like he's not really trying to hide it either. And they have him like go investigate things too. And do you want to explain this?
Oh,
I do have a bullet point for this, but
you've skipped over the most important thing.
what did I skip over?
Are you okay with younger girls?
Oh
Yeah,
my
okay.
god.
With younger
That's a bullet point on here too.
Are you okay with the younger girls?
So my last bullet point.
girls. That are
You want to
younger.
explain? You want to explain it? But my last bullet point is: are you okay with younger girls?
okay with-
Okay, we'll treat that last. That's a good ender.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
strong.
But like, explain what happens at least.
So he heals him and he's like, oh, this is all suspicious. Can you let me investigate everything even though I'm some random guy that just walked in? They're like, oh, sure. And then he goes into the room. He's like, I drank from this wine in this glass. And they're like, and who gave you that glass? And he's like, oh, the evil fucker gave me the glass. And he's like, oh, all right. Here, let me pour some wine in there. This is different wine though, so it's not poison. Oh wait, no, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen.
No,
I'm
manga
describing the
ends
anime. They stop right when he walks into the room. He walks into the room. He's like, "All right, let's investigate," and then it stops.
Well,
That's
the
the
manga-
end of the manga.
The manga is still I guess it's still going.
It's still going.
Yeah,
But supposedly still
I
going.
don't think anyone is translating.
So here's what. So
I'll have to check the Japanese version though.
what? So he calls attention to this shitty conspiracy that this character that he wrote has laid out, and he's like, "Oh man, this is fucking stupid." I think literally Toya says it's like, this wasn't a very well thought out conspiracy, and like, or no, he calls it sloppy. I wrote it down here, a sloppy conspiracy. You know that the writer is the person that comes up with the conspiracy.
right.
You need to stop commenting
on how
your-
bad you are at writing.
I mean, honestly, there's no reason for him not to. Everybody else knows it.
Yeah.
Nobody who's reading it thinks it's really good literature.
Yeah.
But he hasn't
Like-
shown any improvement. Like, I haven't seen any improvement in the plot of the story throughout the entire thing that I've read. Maybe the novel gets better later, but like,
No.
you shouldn't call attention to it if it seems like you also don't have any desire to get better.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
because he's making money.
He's making a lot of
making a
money.
shit
He
dick
got
load of
he got
money.
his web novel animated.
Yeah,
That doesn't
Dude.
happen.
it doesn't happen.
No. So he does this fucking poison shit. But what's important is, are you okay with younger girls?
Are you okay with younger girls?
So-
The younger girls.
This
the ones that are
character-
younger and are girls, are
This-
you okay with them?
This character is one of the most convenient characters in the entire series, and they don't go into it at all in the
That's also
manga because
saying
they don't
something.
go far enough in. She is the princess of the country,
Yes.
Yep.
the first princess.
Yep.
So she would be the one to inherit the throne.
Right.
And she just is way into Toya for the healing thing. She's like, wow. Her eyes are heterochromatic.
Which is my
'Cause-
favorite.
She's green and blue eyes.
I have to say, it's your favorite, but I fucking hate it.
Yeah, it's a dumb thing for them to just throw it. And they're like, oh, her eyes are heterochromatic because they're the eyes of truth.
But,
Okay, that's stupid. I'm
She
not saying
knows if you're telling the truth or not.
well, I mean, if we're talking about character design, that was probably Eiji Utsatsuka.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely a cute trope, heterochromatic eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's also just kind of thrown in there. I mean, he's the only one with the microcosm of talent in this, as we've said before.
So he she's just like really quick in the manga. But what happens later is that he does even more with like he figures out who poisoned the obvious evil guy, poisoned the king, and then as like a fuel to start a war with the beast people, and then he figures that out and the princess falls super in love with him and is like, cool, we're gonna get married, right? And he's like, what? Excuse me? And then the king's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you guys are getting married, right?
It's like, oh
And
yeah,
it's like-
mercenaries is a really respected job for the princess to
Oh,
like
yeah.
sort of fall in
And,
with.
and he's like,
Well, you're a mercenary. Of course I trust you.
and he's like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to slow down with the forcing me to marry your daughter shit?
She's only, how old is she?
She's 13.
13? Yeah.
13.
13.
I know, she's almost to age.
Fine. She's
Yeah.
Ishen's age of consent.
And then he's like, well, when do you become an adult? And he's like, well, you become an adult at 15, so you'll just marry her when she's 15. And then he's like, okay, I want to make a decision for myself, please. And then
Which is something you usually would not tell the king of
Right.
a country.
for the rest of
Especially
the
not in a
series,
feudal system. You just
Yeah.
die.
for the rest of the series, she follows him around while he just does shit.
Yep.
She has like summoning levels, right?
think so.
No, she's an archer.
But she summons shit.
Yeah, she summoned shit.
Does she?
Yeah.
Wolves.
Oh yeah, and she summons wolves and she's an archer.
Yeah.
But she's like kind of the most forward character in all of this because she's like just very forwardly like, yeah, I'm in love with this guy, I'm gonna marry him.
That's why it's interesting.
So she ends up following him around, and then she's the catalyst to make all of the other girls fall in love with him.
Yeah, it was already happening.
It was already
to a degree,
happening, and
but
then she makes
it
them all
wasn't
admit it.
explicitly
It's
said,
like,
yeah.
oh, there's somebody with aspirations to actually make something of this. I guess we're gonna kick up our game.
Yeah. So let me spoil the end of the anime.
Keep going into the anime for sure, because I did not watch all the way through it, and I ran out of bullet points.
Yeah, I think we can end this episode pretty soon.
Yeah, just do
but
it
I really just want to talk about the end of the anime.
Yeah. Go
What
ahead.
happens at the end of the anime? Because a couple more characters show up, but they stick with the main girls. One other girl shows up that also is in love with him, and she's a robot.
Can I say one thing? Does the lolly from the carriage ever come up? She's on like all the box art, right? For like the manga.
She comes up every once in a while, but just to like hang out.
I think they made that
Royalty
character.
Lolly.
I think they made that character just for the box art.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, yeah, that happens a lot.
So he picks up one more girl, and she's an android.
Why have you looked at the box art? That's the bigger fucking question.
He
What's
did
wrong
research.
I know the guy's names.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't get the illustrator because I
Okay,
felt like he
knowing
wasn't even
names-
necessary.
No, Illustrator didn't exist.
I think his name was like Sato or something. That's all that was written on the wiki or something like that. They all have like, I'm pretty sure that at least Fuyahara's is a pen name because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it's written in all caps on everything. So,
Yeah, that's probably a good name.
and then like Soto, it's like Sato or Soto is the illustrator. And then like the only person with like just a normal looking name is the character designer, Eiji.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Even though it sounds Russian.
So in the anime, he picks up one more girl, and she's like a robot that was made by the only other person who's ever had all of the magics at once.
Mm-hmm.
Who made insane, crazy shit like floating castles and shit.
Yeah. Oh, I love those in like Skyrim and D&D. Those are cool.
Yeah. So she made all these floating castles and shit, and it becomes part of the main plot in that he's supposed to find all these floating castles. And the first one he finds has a robot girl in it, and the robot girl is like, "I'm gonna serve you because you're my new master."
Yeah.
So and she like makes out with him like 3 times.
Dude, all he needs is a gravitational potion and a water bowl. That's all he needs to do to find all the floating fucking islands, all the fucking floating castles.
So
I'm gonna correct my own thing. The Elder Scrolls has cool floating. A cool floating island.
Yes.
Not Skyrim particularly.
Skyrim has no floating islands.
Only
Morrowind has a floating island.
Are you sure about that? What about? I remember that one. What's that dragon place where the dragon takes you?
That's not a floating island. It's inside of a mountain.
Oh, well, we should stop talking about Skyrim. That's not that's not the isekai we're covering today. No, that is not the isekai we're covering today.
It is isekai.
It could be isekai.
It is.
Skyrim's isekai.
It's first person.
Everything's isekai.
It's a self-insert,
everything is isekai except Old Navy.
Except Old Navy.
Fuck Old Navy.
So they he gets a new girl, and then that girl spurs Big Boob's sister to confess to him, and then she also makes out with him.
Yeah.
And so then Princess Girl is upset because he's fucking made out with like everyone else but me.
Can I say one thing about Big Boob's younger sister?
Yes.
When she was teaching Toya magic, it was the one funny line where it's just like, "All right, are we gonna learn some magic today?" And she's like, "Call me sensei," just like yelling at him.
Do it. So.
Yeah, but then he doesn't. She blushes.
Yeah. So she confesses and makes out with him, and then the princess is upset, and she's like, "Hey, why have you made out with me?" And he's like, "Well, I guess to be fair." And then he makes out with her too.
It's only fair. Yeah.
I guess I'll be fair.
And then the other 2 girls who haven't really expressed any interest yet. That all the girls talk together, and the princess is like, "All right, look, I'm all right with everyone going at it together."
Let's clear some shit up here, Toya. You're the only man who isn't fat, racist, or has eyes. Every other man doesn't have eyes in this.
It's kind of true, actually.
So polygamy is all right in this country. So he could just pick everyone. So
makes you think.
Why don't we just make him pick everyone?
Makes you think about the wizard lady with the king, right?
Yeah.
Right. Makes you think.
You know, guys, I'm okay with this turning into a harem manga. I'm totally cool with it. Like, as long as that's cool with you guys, we could totally just make it a harem.
So I just have to confirm. Are we all gonna go for this? And then they basically, oh, okay. And then the Ishin girl and the small tit sister, they both confess at the same time to him after fighting him, because they have to fight him for some reason first. And then
honor.
And then he has to make out with the 2 of them as well. Which, I mean, to be fair. And then it ends.
It's only fair.
It ends with that.
Toya is doing this all just because he's empty and he's being fair.
And then,
the most empty thing you can do.
So then this fairy character comes up. And he's like, I wonder, is Toya going to have more girls? And then the robot is like, well, my old master told me the future about him. And he's
conveniently.
He is in fact going to have 9 girls. And she's like, I wonder who it is. And then it shows a picture of all of the 9 girls he's going to be with, which includes the fairy girl that asked about of them. And how he has this whole.
That's gotta be a startling thing for somebody to see. Does the fairy see the picture?
No. Only the robot knows.
What you just explained to me there was like the robot knows, and it's like talking to the fairy, and it's like, oh yeah, I know. It's like, fuck, I'm gonna. Why am I there?
Why am I there? So yeah, that's how the anime ends. I think.
You almost say that's how the isekai ends. I swear to God, you were about to say that.
Well, that's how Isekai Deus Ex Smartphone in Another World.
Yeah,
ends.
well, that's how Isekast ends for this episode.
Oh, nice.
I'm ending the episode.
Nice.
Ending it. Next week we're gonna be doing Death March Kara Hajimeru Isekai, however it's pronounced. The first episode of the anime aired a couple days ago as we are recording this.
And yes,
Spoiler
it's
alert,
as
it's an isekai.
Yep, spoiler. It's an isekai, and yes, it is as tedious as its name.
It is as tedious a name. All right.
We'll see you guys next week. Don't trust Old Navy.